If you're looking to JV your wholesale deal the right way, look no further because I'll be showing you how it should be done and I'll be giving you the do's and don'ts during the process. Let's get into it. So first off, let's say that you're a new wholesaler and you have a deal under contract, but you don't have a cash buyers list built. Or you may be in a situation where you have a lot of leads coming in, you're a one-man operation, and you know once you stop generating the leads just to focus on the disposition aspect of that wholesale deal, your leads gonna stop coming in. So in those two scenarios, the best possible situation that you can do is JV that deal with somebody that has a list of cash buyers that are doing deals in that particular area, and they can get pictures, they can be the boots on the ground for that particular deal, and all you worrying about doing is generating your next deal. That's how you should get it done in your beginning process so that your main focus can be continuing to generate more leads so you can close more deals. Now, this is just an option that you have. You could work around the clock, continue to generate leads, and handle disposition in the later part of the day because you should have at least 30 days to get it done. But if you're the type of person that you say, hey, I just want to get this done, I don't mind losing 50% of the profit, this is one of the ways to go. So now I know you're probably like, well, how do I find other wholesalers to actually JV my deal with? It's very, very simple. If you're virtually wholesaling, of course, you're gonna have to use social media. With social media, you can go on Facebook and type in real estate investment groups in whatever area that you're wholesaling in, and there are gonna be a lot of wholesalers. They're gonna be cash buyers. There are gonna be a lot of people that's just in the real estate niche that you can reach out to, that you could potentially wholesale deals with. You can also use a website such as Bigger Pockets. I don't know if a lot of you still use Bigger Pockets. I still do because there's a lot of real estate investors on there as well too that you can network with, and if they're in that particular area that you wholesaling in, guess what? That can be your boots on the ground. That can be the co-wholesaler that you work with on your deals in that particular market until you add more team members to your team or until you can put more time aside to focus on dispositions. Another thing too, a lot of people don't talk about, you can use software such as PropStream and you can go in and see the cash transactions in that particular area. And guess what? You don't only have to use that to find cash buyers. What you can actually do, you can look for transactions that happen near your property or in your property county where you see that a property sold twice in one day. So let's say that the closing took place and the first price was $100,000, but then you see in that same day that it was sold for $150,000. That means that person most likely double closed on that property because of the assignment fee. So the original person that you see inside of PropStream, you definitely want to reach out to them because 9 times out of 10, they're going to be a wholesaler and they will be willing to JV with you because they're already making money in that particular market. And I know you're probably like, well, how does that process actually work? They just use transactional funding, or if they have enough money to where they can buy the property themselves, then they probably just bought the property and then 5 minutes later, the buyer came in and bought the property from them. So that's another way that you can find wholesalers in the virtual market. And that's another way that you can use PropStream that you probably didn't even know about. And now, if you're enjoying the content so far, please just hit the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell so YouTube can see that this video is valuable and they'll push this video out to a larger audience. And also, of course, we're talking about JVing right now. If you would like to JV with me, because I have been getting a lot of messages regarding JVing, definitely feel free to hit the link in my bio. It's going to pull up a web form where you have to submit all the information regarding the property that you want to JV with me on. Or you can go over to my Instagram and send me a message and also click the link in the bio that's going to have the same web form that you can submit your deal so that we could potentially JV on. And what I do, I'll take a look at it and see if it's a deal. If so, then I'll get back to you and we can move forward in the process. Now, if you're wholesaling in your local market, it should definitely be way easier to find other wholesalers that you could potentially JV with. Now, how I met a lot of other wholesalers, I normally go to real estate meetups in the area. You may find real estate meetups on meetup.com. You can even find some on Instagram with different wholesalers that may be in your area. For my county, we have a Metrolina meetup here in Charlotte that you can meet up with different wholesalers at those potential meetups as well too. And guess what? You're not only going to find wholesalers there, you're going to find cash buyers, buyers. You may even find lenders that may be willing to lend on your deals. But of course, you got to make sure that you approach them the correct way. But if you're local, it's going to be a whole lot more easier to find wholesalers to JV with because you're actually in that particular market. Now, the crazy thing is everything I just mentioned can be done and can be used to even find cash buyers in your market or your virtual markets as well too. But like I said, if you don't have the time, then this is the best option for you if you don't want to lose out on the deal that you got to get closed in 30 days. Now, once it is assigned to them, you also would just want to have a JV agreement in place too. It's easy to find JV agreements. You can easily go into some Facebook groups that have JV agreements in there. And the good thing about that is it's good for tax purposes. It's just good to keep the documents, and you can send that over to your real estate attorney or title company, because then if you do close a deal that's $10,000, you're not going to get taxed on the $10,000 if you're splitting it 50-50. You'll get taxed on the $5,000 because that's actually what you made, and your JV partner will get taxed on the $5,000 because that's what they made. So now that you see everything that you need in order to make sure that you're protected and the other wholesalers protected, let's get into these two different scenarios: JVing locally and JVing in virtual markets. So if you're JVing locally, you got to remember, you already handled the front end of the deal where you handle acquisitions and cold calling or whatever you did to generate the deal. Your JV partner will focus on finding a cash buyer to get the deal closed. They will also be responsible for showing the property, or you can show up there with your JV partner as well, just to help out and make sure everything is running properly when the property is being showed. It's completely up to you. It's just whatever you agree to with you and your JV partner. But always remember, like I told you, everything that you're doing, especially in the local market, you can do yourself and find cash buyers. And if you want a video on how to find cash buyer, please feel free to check this video out here, because it'll show you how to find cash buyers. It'll show you how to market to your cash buyers, and it'll just show you the whole aspect of handling dispositions when it comes to getting your deal sold. So feel free to check that video out. Now, the good part about JVing virtually is you can be in so many different markets. You can be generating 10,000 here, you can be generating 20,000 here, you can be generating 5,000, 3,000 in all these different markets. And guess what? You won't have to be handling any of the dispositions because you have boots on the ground that is handling the dispositions for you. So let's say you built relationships with other wholesalers in these other markets. Guess what they're going to do? Pretty much the same thing. They're going to be able to find buyers on their cash buyers list that can get the deal sold for you. They'll be able to get the pictures for you. They'll be able to handle all the showings whenever the buyers are ready to get in the property to see what the property look like. Just everything disposition related, they're going to be able to take care of that for you, because you may be 1,000 miles away, but the most important thing is you're not missing out on that particular deal. And until you're able to build a team to handle that type of disposition aspects to where they can hire somebody from Thumbtack and pay them $100 to get pictures, this is the best way to go, because you're going to have 5,000 coming in there, 8,000 coming in there, and then you just have a whole bunch of money coming in if you remain consistent with this process. This is the way that I would handle JV deals. You can have it set up to where they don't handle the whole disposition aspect of the deal. But if you have a trusted person, I feel like that's the best way to do it, because then you can continuously focus on generating more deals in your business. Now, let's get into the pros and cons of JVing. The first pro that you have when it comes to JVing is you will have more time to focus on other deals, like I said earlier throughout the video. Another pro that you have is you will have access to the other wholesalers that you deal with cash buyers list. So you may have to JV the first deal with them, but then once you get another deal in that particular market, then you can reach out directly to that particular cash buyer and say, hey, would you be interested in another property in such and such area? And guess what? Then you keep 100% of that particular deal. Another pro of JVing is you will walk away with 50% of the deal instead of 0% of the deal. And like I said, you can use those funds to potentially build out the disposition side of your wholesale business, where you can train them to find people to take photos on Thumbtack, figure out how to negotiate with the seller to send the pictures to you. And all that can take place after you've had a couple of JV deals under your belt, you have cash buyers in place, and you just need to teach someone to get it done. Now let's get into the cons of potentially JVing a wholesale deal. One of the cons may be you may have wholesalers that try to steal your your deal. Now, I don't want you to go in with the mindset that someone is going to try to steal your deal, because if that person has the intention to do that, they're not planning on being in this business long at all, because that is going to get around the whole industry and a lot of people not going to want to work with that particular person. Going with the mindset with this person is an ethical person, and until they show you different, that's how you need to think about it. Another con is you will have to give up a percentage of your deal. I don't know if it's going to be 20%, 30%. Most of the time, if you JVing with somebody, it's going to be a 50-50 split, because they are putting in work on the deal as well too. But like I said, that's not even really a con, because you walking away with 50% instead of 0%. So that's not really even a con, but that can be a con if you want to make 100% on the deal. Now, the third con is you may run into bad partners. You may have somebody that is ethical, but they may not work as fast as you. Or when it come down to getting pictures of the property and you use something such as Thumbtack, they may want to use Craigslist, where you can't leave a review on the photographer that you are using, and they may not even show up to the property when the seller shows up, and then that may cost you the deal. And so in that aspect, you may have people that's just cheap and they don't want to spend $100 for a good photographer to go out to get the pictures. You have to realize that everybody is not going to be like you, and that's just part of business. But whenever you dealing with a partner, you got to keep that in mind, and you can't be one-sided and think everything is always going to go your way. Like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.